Hi, in this short video we're going to take a quick look at some of the new features in Waltz 136. First up are some changes to the navigation, specifically around in-page navigation. So historically, when we've looked at entries like org-unit, if we wanted to jump between sections, we've been using this horizontal menu bar to sort of say look at applications, or you can drill into these if they're sort of hierarchical application costs. In 136 we've flipped over to using a sidebar, so if we look at a page which has some navigation, you can see it pops out the sidebar. This can be collapsed if you're not interested in it. You can see also the hierarchy has been preserved if the hierarchy makes sense on a page, and the highlighting here just lets you know which sections are open. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to say about the nav bar. Okay. Another recent change in Waltz is to rename authoritative sources into flow classification rules. This better reflects the evolving sort of nature of that feature. Historically it was quite limited in terms of the number of outcomes that an authoritative source rule could take. We lifted that limit in 135, and in 136 we've basically completed the UE rework. So now you see where authoritative source was mentioned, it's now flow classification rules. And you can see here it's got the example of adding a new type of classification, a heritage rule. These rules can be navigated to. Each rule now has its own entity page, so if we take a look at one of these, we can see this is the entity page and we see some of the standard sections. I'm now going to hand over to my colleague Jessica, who will talk a little bit about some of the new sections that we've added to this page.
Thanks, Dave. If you could open up the two new sections, which are the companion app rules section and the companion data type rules section, we can see for the companion app rules, these are other flow classification rules which share the same source application. You can see here that for the parent flow, we're talking about pricing data. This in the companion app rules section is the same source application of Wombat, but is now talking about book data. The second section, companion data type rules, are those that share the same data type or have a parent of the data type of the parent flow classification rule. So for example, pricing data, in this case, they all share the same data type, but if there was a parent of pricing data, those rules would also appear here. I think next we will go and discuss some of the other new features for Waltz release 1.36. So if we go to the attestations section, or the user view attestations list, we can see, as the same view previously, the list of each run, and within that each of the instances for that run. In historical versions of Waltz, we would be attesting each of these instances one by one by first of all clicking the attest function viewpoint ratings and then clicking confirm once we can see the pop-out view. You'll notice that there's a new toggle that's appeared above the list of instances. By default that's switched on, but if you want to go back to the old version you must deselect it and you'll be able to attest one by one. If you then have the toggle switched on, once one of those instances is attested, it will automatically open the next attestation instance in that list. So you can cycle through them much quicker, making the process a lot more streamlined. You'll also notice that we've made an enhancement here where we've just shown the relevant measurables or viewpoints to this attestation, whereas previously it was the whole measurable tree that was in this small inline panel. Okay, once you've completed an attestation instance, you can take a look at that from the application that you've just attested those functions for. So if you, for example, go to Pygmy Marmoset, we can see there in the attestation section, there's a new tab next to the data flows section called Viewpoint Ratings. If you open this, you'll see a new table which lists for each of the viewpoint categories the latest attestation that has been completed for it. So there has been an attestation issued against the application, but it's not yet been completed. You'll see this with a null value in the attested at and attested by fields.
Okay, thanks for that, Jess. I think that completes our overview of everything that's in Waltz 136. Thank you very much for watching.